Let's check in with Turning Point's White House correspondent Monica Paige at the White House. Monica, let's start with the grim first because it's necessary. It's an important conversation. Then we'll get to the wins, the grims, then the wins. Maybe that's how we'll do things from here on out. This horrible video story. We all knew about the story already, but now that the video has emerged of this North Carolina killing on public transit, the president is weighing in. What is President Trump saying about this? I'm assuming people have, filled in the gaps of this guy was a repeat offender. This is a horrible act, and the video is just chilling. What's the president saying?
Well, this just confirms everything that the president has been saying as far as we need law and order. We need to have consequences for these actions. And with the president cracking down on crime throughout our major cities, throughout the entire United States, this is just yet another instance as to why cashless bail does not work. This man has had 14 prior arrests, all these different crimes let out continuously. And there needs to be something that is the final nail in the coffin. And maybe this is it. We actually also heard from Caroline Levitt this afternoon, press secretary, addressing this exact same thing, saying that, if you're a member of the media and you've been ignoring the story, you are part of the problem as well. You are just as compliant. You are just as guilty in letting something like this happen. And we also heard from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy recently saying, if you're just going to let your homelessness in your city run rampant and your crime without consequences, not locking these people up, then maybe we pull your federal transit funding. Maybe we pull your federal funding as a whole. And maybe that's what needs to happen to finally bring justice to the victims and just reinstill law and order and keeping our own Americans safe. Because if we don't address the problem, nothing will get fixed.
Yeah, I think a lot of those main outlets weren't reporting on it because they were so fervently behind cashless bail. Oh, this will definitely work. But as a terrible of a story it is good that this is getting more attention on the transit side. Maybe Sean Duffy should pull funding for California's endless bullet train that they're never actually going to build, completely separate from whether or not they're doing the right things in terms of actual justice. So the good news, I guess, so to speak, yesterday, or it was today, there was a religious liberties summit. Tell us about that and what the president is saying around what is now hotly contested, this religious liberties in the United States.
Yeah, the president making remarks at the Museum of the Bible this week, and he basically cracked down on, we need to keep God not only in our lives, but in everything that we do. And the president also saying that he's going to donate his Bible to the Museum of the Bible, one that his mother gifted him when he was a child. So that will be on full display as well. And we also heard a panel of not only students, but also parents who have dealt with obstacles maybe in their career or just even being at school. Heard real life testimonies, real life experiences and stories from these kids saying, I wasn't allowed to wear my Jesus Loves Me mask in school. I wasn't allowed to perform a religious Christian song at my school's talent show. I wasn't even allowed to mention Jesus Christ in my valedictorian graduation speech. These are just some of the instances of probably many throughout the entire country where students feel like, am I doing something wrong by mentioning and honoring Jesus Christ who's given me life and just wanting to honor him and just do the right thing. So the president really highlighting some of these stories and saying, it's not a bad thing. We should be doing more of this. We should be bringing God into children's lives and just making this an all around good thing. And we heard from Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. He's the chairman of the Religious Liberty Commission, Vice Chair Dr. Ben Carson. So it was definitely very interesting to hear these testimonies. And the Lieutenant Governor also teased ahead and said, we're not going to stop at schools and with these parents. We're also going to go to the military as well. And I would have liked to have asked him, what's your plan for the military and the Religious Liberty Commission over there? So I'm sure we're going to get some more news, not only throughout schools, but also in other sectors of our country as well.
I think this could be a much longer conversation, but yesterday there was a video of Senator Tim Kaine saying, no, your rights don't come from God. They come from the government, effectively, which is probably the whole problem to begin with, which is why I think this religious liberties remarks that President Trump was giving is so important. Monica Paige, Turning Point's White House correspondent, thanks so much for checking in. Really appreciate you taking the time. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Jobob.
Thank you.